Welcome back to the last war of Season 21. The Hurt Locker were up against Mafia, and I'm going to be taking in Doctor Doom, Guardian and Human Torch to this war. So I'm going to showcase a couple of fights, not every one, just ones that I found really interesting. So just going to go to the usual path 8, and we're going to be skipping through the Symbiote Supreme because he was just a walk in the park for Human Torch. So the second fight up on path 8 was the right side mini. It's undue Mephisto. I'm going to be using this out the pre-fight. So this could have been a little bit dodgy because of the power Mephisto gains from the incinerates. If he didn't play ball, he could have easily got to an SB3 and wrecked me. But that's kind of a risk worth taking and saving the pre-fight for later, even if I do get slapped in the face there. I'm just going to try and bait this SP2 out. He is gaining a fair amount of power from the incinerates. It does get a little bit dangerously close to an SP3. I was worried for a little bit a second. But now I've got my SP3. So the next sort of contact after I bait this SP1 will be Nova Flames instead of the incinerates. So that takes away the power gain that Mephisto gets, and he should get put in the bin here. Quite a nice interaction where you can get Nova Flames off without using the pre-fight, but you use the SP3, so you can do a heck of a lot of damage. So you can see we've got 4 Novas on, and he is just getting melted. I don't know what happened there. I had just missed my parry, but the power sting there took him out, and he is now in the bin. We move on to the mini middle boss fight, my favourite fight of this war. So we've got the Havok on mixmaster and prowess now. Now this is not just my favourite fight because I'm using Guardian, who is my current favourite champion. It's also because we've got a solid counter here that makes this node really manageable. So I've got perfect blocks on parries, which means I can parry Havok and get a stun off his medium. So I don't have to worry about him doing a medium into a heavy and clipping me, putting that feedback, I think it's called, onto me and then doing some crazy damage. I did make a wee mistake there in a backdraft and got clipped, but because I've got a permanent armour up, the plasmas do no damage, so I'm just going to be healing from willpower. I did make a second mistake here. I thought he was going to charge in at me after the evade, so I threw an SP1, but because I'm doing so much energy damage here, Havok's just going to be constantly placing plasma charges on me, so I can just slow the fight down and heal up from them. Now the next thing I need to think about here is I don't have to worry about my health because I'm healing up, but I'm going to be throwing my SP2 soon, and I'm above 3 force field charges, which means once I throw that, I'm going to consume my armour up and place a shock on Havok. So I need to launch a heavy here and then throw my SP2 because I get a secondary armour up that will save me from the detonations of Havok's plasma charges. If I didn't do that, I'd have been nuked into oblivion from that detonation. So the smart play is just get a parry off, get a heavy and then throw it. There's no point in rushing this fight. Everything is in control, provided I don't do any more silly mistakes, miss a time and evade on a heavy or a special from Havok. He should go down with pretty relative ease. So I'm now just going to do the same thing. I'm going to get a couple of specials out of him, get to my SP2, get a parry off and then heavy, and that should kill him. He does have a fair few prowess charges at the moment, so if I do get hit by a special from him, it's going to do a lot of damage, and there goes all the work getting back up to 100% from willpower. That would just be silly, but we're nearly at 2 bars of power. Going to get this parry off, get away heavy. He's at 23%, and this SP2 should put him into oblivion. There we go. Havok is down, and that mini was fairly easy. Move on to the next fight. So the next fight up is the real reason I brought Guardian for. We've got Mr. Sinister, so I decided to use a champion that doesn't crit. I've also got class advantage, so it makes this fight super fast. When I take out the regeneration from a Sinister, it just makes the fight so much easier. So I'm just doing medium, light, 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 medium, baiting the SP1. Don't push him to an SP2 because if I do, the concussion he places on me will then place a shock on him. If he throws his SP1, that gets placed on me, and with the passive heal block, that could do a serious amount of damage. So I'm just going to parry, get this SP1 out of him, and now it's just a case of getting to my SP2 because he is melting. The shock damage I place on him from the what should be crits is pretty decent, and Mr. Sinister is in the bin. That was a super quick fight, and moving on to the last fight of the war. So the last fight of my war season is this Aeon on Rich Get Richer and Buff and Balance Weakness. So he's going to be putting a lot of weaknesses on me, so my damage is going to be pretty gimped, and he will be gaining a lot of power when I strike him because of the Rich Get Richer node, and Aeon always gains Furies when you strike him. So I really need to watch out for his power. That's the main aspect of this fight, because he does gain a lot of power from the node. So I really need to bait this out before he gets up to an SP3. If he did, I'd be stunned probably for days. So that would have been a lot of damage dealt. Might have been enough to kill me, but I've got my SP3 now, so I can get the power drain off and just continue cycling that and make sure that he doesn't get to an SP3 from the node. However, if he does decide to turtle up, that could be a real problem. Damage isn't great. I do get a lot of weaknesses on me every time I hit him, so this SP2 I thought might kill him. Because of all the debuffs on myself, it didn't really do any damage. But now another combo, because I got the weaknesses off me, he is in the bin, and that is the end of my war season. So I actually had to re-record this section because prior to the ban wave I had redone this. We'd finished in gold 1. I was a wee bit disappointed in that. I was a wee bit flat from that. Put a wee bit of effort in and didn't really feel like we'd got rewarded. However, with the ban wave happening from all the cheating, we got bumped up to Platinum 4. So it's a nice wee bump up in rewards, and that was our target at the start of the season, so we hit it. So, well done Kabam for implementing that ban wave for people who are cheating. I think that's a great move, and it should have been done a while ago, but it's happened now, and hopefully people learn, and going forward we don't have things like this happen in the future. So I was going to upload a war season opening video, but my recording failed, so I thought I'd just include what happened. Here I've got one screenshot for my 6-star. So who did I pull? That's right, I got my first dupe on a 6-star Aeon. That's a pretty awesome end to this season. I do have a 565 6200 Aeon, but I'm getting closer to a skilled T5CC, so maybe I'll rank 3 Aeon in the near future. I still got a best to do, so that's a pretty awesome reward there. So really happy with that, really happy with the way the season went, and now we'll move on to the next one and let's see what the future holds. If you did like this video, give us a wee like, drop us a wee comment. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for future content, and I'll catch you in the next one. All the best.